So there's this girl, her name, let's call her Lena. And she had like a couple of brothers. So maybe like, let's say two brothers. And her father was relatively rich. Anyway, they moved to like a new kingdom. Now, this was back in the day. They moved to a new kingdom and, it was a new place. They were going to do business here. Okay. So, what happened was that one day, because she was new to the area, she decided to like, go out to the market, see what it's like. But like I said, she comes from a rich family. So her mother, her dad, what was her mom, because her dad was busy with work with her brothers. So her mom, sent her with the guards and maids and all. They were like in this kingdom, how, and it was a bit different from where they come from. But anyways, whatever. So she goes out, she sees the sights, she goes to the market, she buys some stuff. And I think when she was in the market, right, some people who knew like the prince was also in the market at that time. And they're like, oh my gosh, there's this really beautiful girl. Yeah, you should check her out. Like she went to the prince, finds out like where is she? So as she's going back, he catches up to her caravan, okay? Her and her horses with her maids. And they find out that, oh no, this is the prince. So his guards like surround them and she comes down. She has to come down. And he says, like, come with me. And she's like, come, Your Highness, good afternoon. And he's like, come with me. And she's like, and he like, basically grabs her and all her guards and her maids, like they start screaming, but his guards put the sword to their necks and like, shut up. So he takes her into his caravan and, yeah, he basically forces himself on her. And she's screaming the whole time, but he's enjoying himself. And after the deed is done, she's just laying there, crying, tears in her eyes. But he had a really great time, and he looks at her and he's like, oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful. He loves her so much. And he tells her like, hey, don't worry, I'll marry you, I'm going to make you my wife. Because, in that society, like I said, it was back in the day. If someone forced themselves on a woman, that woman was done. Like, there was no one was going to marry her. So he's like, don't worry, I'll marry you. I'll talk to your parents. Okay. So you come home with me. It wasn't like she had a choice. So anyways, they send her guards and her maids back home. And they tell them that, go come to the palace, the prince and the king want to talk to you. So her maids and her guards, they run back home. They tell the family everything. The father is like, he's finished. It is over. And the brothers was like, no, look, we need to go and collect our sister. But this father's like, what are we going to do? This is the king. This is the prince. We can't do anything. But the brothers were like, we need to go. So they go to the palace. And instead of meeting the prince, they meet the king. And the king was like, hey, listen, my son fell in love with your daughter and he wants to marry her. So please, let's have a marriage ceremony and all, okay? And, I will allow you to, do your business freely and even be tax-free in this land. Just allow my son to marry your daughter. Yes, some stuff happened this afternoon, but, he wants to marry her, so everything will be okay. Don't worry, okay? And the father is like looking down. The brothers look at the king. They look at each other. And the question is, what would you do as the father or as the brothers? What would you do? Let me know in the comments.